Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Billy Napier, the Florida Gators, grabbing another one from the transfer portal, but essentially coming in that 2024 class and former four-star cornerback Jamir Grimsley, committed to Alabama with Nick Saban retiring, hits the transfer portal, and the Florida Gators come in and get one of my favorite cornerbacks from that 2024 cycle. And many of you guys know, as a Michigan fan, Jamir Grimsley was a huge Michigan target, so I'm pretty familiar with Jamir Grimsley. And I'll say this, the Florida Gators get a very high upside cornerback to come in that 2024 class and add to a cornerback room in that 2024 class that they probably wanted to add another body, and Jamir Grimsley falls right into their lap. Want to get into Jamir Grimsley, talk a little bit about what we see on the film for Jamir Grimsley. Really excited to do so. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a shout out to the Florida Gator fans. I mean, this has been a fun program to talk about in the transfer portal, on the high school recruiting trail. You guys continue to show a ton of love to the boys. It's something I love doing. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, thank you guys so much for all the support. And without further ado, let's get into Jamir Grimsley. And I mean, for the longtime listeners, you know the first thing we do when we talk cornerbacks, and we go over the three checklists, or the three-box checklist that we look for in cornerbacks: the length, the long speed, and the ball skills. And for length, Jamir Grimsley at 6'3", 185, that's a massive check mark. And you see the length in his arms as well when you turn on the film. And then you take a look at the long speed. Jamir Grimsley, a track athlete that clocked a 10.84 100-meter dash time. The long speed, certainly a massive check for Jamir Grimsley. And then you take a look at the ball skills. Played two ways during his high school career. In his junior year, caught 25 passes for over 350 yards. The ball skills that you see on film, even as a wide receiver, are certainly there. So when you look at the checklist, Jamir Grimsley, I mean, checking all the boxes, that's probably what I like the most about Jamir Grimsley. But when you turn on the film, as a wide receiver, you see the movement skills that he has. You're going to see the long speed. You're going to see the ball skills. But when he's playing that cornerback role, you are going to see an extremely physical cornerback that is not afraid to fire downhill and be physical at the point of attack. And I think when you look at the physical traits, as well with the edge that he plays with on Friday nights, that's probably what you're most excited for if you're a Florida Gator fan. And I want to take a look at the film here and just give you guys a sense of what I'm talking about. Now, the first couple of reps, you're going to see him as a wide receiver, but he's going to put on display like the burners that he has, right? A 10.84 100-meter dash time. I'm sure many Florida fans know about track times. That's blazing. And you see it on the field, right? Just making everyone just kind of look like they're moving in slow motion. It doesn't take him very long to get to that top speed. That's another thing that we like talking about as a wide receiver. Again, nice release. You see the movement skills, track the football, make a play on the football. The ball skills certainly there for Jamir Grimsley as well. And you're going to see him work as a wide receiver and just kind of show the movement skills that you think are going to translate to that cornerback role relatively seamlessly, right? Sit it down in the zone. I'm going to catch it, and it doesn't take him very long to get to that kind of top speed is what you're kind of looking for. Now, as a cornerback, this is what I love, right? Sitting at that boundary cornerback spot. If there's one thing that you might have had questions about, right, for him playing as much wide receiver as he did at the high school level, what does the physicality look like in terms of tackling? What do the instincts look like? Reading the quarterback's eyes, sitting there in zone coverage, seeing the quarterback's going to throw it here underneath. I mean, he's going to fire downhill, be physical at the point of attack. That is exactly what you want from a cornerback. He's rangy, he's long. Again, he is not afraid to be physical. Again, kind of playing like more of that safety role there, coming across, laying the wood. I mean, Jamir Grimsley really gets me so excited from the physical traits that he brings, but you also see the physical traits kind of show up on the high school football field. And you talk about, you talk about ball skills. I mean, let's go up, use that length, use that height, and go make a play on the football. I mean, if you talk about checking boxes, Jamir Grimsley certainly checking those boxes. And you look at this 2024 class, and for the Florida Gators, we kind of had this conversation at signing day. And there were a lot of Florida fans that were upset about a few guys decommitting, flipping their commitments during that signing day period. You take a look at what's kind of transpired the last couple of weeks. Jamir Grimsley essentially joining that 2024 class. Dontre Robinson, a guy we talked about just a couple days ago, joining that Florida Gators class. You suddenly look at what Florida did in 2024 and obviously holding on to the crown jewels of DJ Lagway and LJ McCray. You're kind of excited about what Florida did in that 2024 class. And again, taking a small class in 2024 allowed the Florida Gators to get relatively aggressive in the transfer portal, right? And Jamir Grimsley essentially in that 2024 class, but is going to be counted as a transfer portal target. You add a couple tackles and guys like Devin Manuel, Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. I think the smaller class for the Florida Gators in the 2024 cycle kind of was a blessing in disguise because it allowed the Florida Gators to go out in the transfer portal and bring some veteran talent into this program, which they really sorely needed. And so grabbing a guy like Jamir Grimsley, essentially adding to that 2024 class, you feel pretty good about it. And then we take a sneak peek to what they're doing in the 2025 class, already off to a good start. The Florida Gators getting it done on the recruiting trail. Again, a lot of our conversation now is going to be pointed at the 2025 class, but a guy like Jamir Grimsley, someone that I'm extremely familiar with, talked about him when he committed to Alabama, was talking about him when he was a Michigan prospect. The Florida Gators got a very exciting cornerback that has a lot of high upside. And again, at a position, I guess we kind of didn't touch on this, at a position that they kind of wanted to address, right? You take a look at that cornerback class. Teddy Foster, coming from Sarasota, was the only other cornerback in that 2024 class. So you add a very high upside cornerback in this 2024 class. The Florida Gator fans have a lot to be excited about. Again, appreciate all the support you guys have shown the boys. I've been having an absolute blast breaking these commitments down. I think y'all got a good one here. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.